Welcome back. Here we are in part 3 of our creation of the
Necromancer Cleric.
Cleric Necromancer. Part 1, we made the character. Part 2, we leveled up the character. And now in part 3, we're going to do a test combat.
Now remember, I am level 5 after the last video.
Right, he is level 5. He has picked spells. He's got everything done. And to make it so that he would probably be more prepared, since he is a 5th level character, the way you create undead in this edition is it's a 2nd level spell that is a ritual that you have to use to create undead. So for the purposes of this, I have decided to give him a undead companion. I was kind of debating based on, he does have a spell that will allow him to turn things into ghouls, but ghouls are intelligent undead, and you're supposed to only really be able to control mindless undead with this spell easily. So I decided to just give him a skeletal champion as his companion.
And so I have a skeletal champion walking around with me. And since you have a skeletal champion or any type of undead walking around with you, you don't usually get let into towns.
So he is avoiding the towns. He is currently stopped to get himself some food. And he's in the middle of the forest when he may or may not hear a rumbling. At this point, I ask him to make a perception check. And that's a natural 20.
Plus 13.
So you can hear quite easily, in fact, and I'm going to roll for your champion anyway. Your champion is also quite well aware, because with his perception is nowhere near as high as yours is. But he still got this too, that there are 3 creatures coming in your general direction. They don't seem to be aware of you at the moment. This is a heavily wooded forest because, again, you don't want to be made visible very quickly. But there are 3 creatures walking in your general direction, kind of parallel to where you are right now.
I guess I'll call them New Minion 1, 2, and 3.
New Minion 1, 2, and 3 is a perfectly reasonable name for them without knowing who they are.
Doesn't matter.
So, at this point, you have to make the decision as to how you wish to approach.
I'm going to have both myself and the skeletal champion, since I'm in the woods, hide so we can ambush them.
Okay, well, at that point, you need to make a stealth check. Did you take stealth as a class skill?
I did, and I'm trained in stealth.
So, what is your total for being trained in stealth?
I believe that is a plus 4. Dexterity of 12.
It's going to be distinctly higher than that. You're thinking level 1.
That's right.
So, being trained means that you get to add 2 plus your level, and then you also get to add your dexterity modifier.
Alright. 2 plus my level, so 7 plus the modifier 8.
So you are going to roll, you have a plus 8 to your roll for stealth.
Alright, give me another natural 20. Come on. No.
That's a 9, which is still going to get you a 17.
Yeah.
You are hiding. I'm going to roll for the skeletal champion. Sadly, he does not have stealth as a class skill.
No.
So he's not going to have as good of a roll, but actually, he rolled a natural 20, which means that he is the best skeletal hider ever.
Nice.
His bonus to stealth, by the way, is a plus 4, because his dexterity modifier is a 4. So he is hiding as a 24, you're hiding with a 17. I've got to roll for the minions to see what they know. Because of the fact that they did not know you were coming and distance and things, I'm going to give them a bit of a minus to this roll. So I'm going to start with the ones who have the same value. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to the one with a higher perception value. So, you think one of them, you start and you hear them speak. They don't speak in a language you're aware of, you know, because what they're speaking in is it kind of sounds like barking.
And do I know what type of future minions they will be?
Once you can see them, I will definitely let you know. But you believe one of them may have heard something, but they definitely don't know what's going on.
All right, we'll stand still and wait till we get some
But once you hear them move a little bit forward, at which point roll a perception check. This is going to get you how much you know about the creatures that have maybe found you.
So plus 13, so that's a 19.
So you see these creatures, and looking at these creatures, you know these as standard humanoid type. These are the sound of their voices as you get closer, it sounded like rough, scratchy voices, and now as you get closer, you see that they are 3 hobgoblins.
Hobgoblin.
They are hobgoblins. They are taller than a standard goblin. They're still speaking goblinoid. Do you speak goblinoid?
I do not believe so.
Because I don't think you do.
I don't think I even have any other languages.
Well, you actually have 2 more languages that you can choose based on the fact that you have an intelligence of 14, but I think we forgot to do that.
Probably, because we didn't.
So, because I completely forgot about that. That's my fault. So, you have the ability to, you hear them speak to each other and point in your general direction, as if one of them may have spotted or heard you. Now, you see these 3 goblins. 2 of them have shields with them. They've got a sword and shield. The other one has a rather nasty-looking crossbow at his side.
I think we're going to want to take that guy out first.
They are currently about 50 feet away from you. There's some trees in the way as well, but they think they heard something in your general direction. They're not entirely sure, as, again, they're speaking Goblin, so you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah,
what do you want to do?
I will assume they will eventually think that it was just an animal. So I'll just wait.
You wait it out, and let's see what they decide to do. After taking about a minute or 2 to search for you guys, they fail miserably at doing so, and they decide that it was some sort of animal that was crossing by that just seemed a little weird, because they would have expected to see something like that, and they turn and continue moving along.
Are they moving towards me?
No, they are moving. They were moving parallel to your position. They are still moving parallel to your position, so they are walking away from you. You can let them go if you want, or
no,
you can have more minions.
More minions. That's what a necromancer does.
So, at this point, you have a couple of options. One, you can try to stealth up on them, which so far has worked, but you know that your skeletal champion is not super stealthy, and the chances of him rolling another natural 20 are not that great. Or you get close enough and then try to announce your presence and just make your attacks. What do you want to do? Or you can try to talk to them. As this is generally considered something I'm doing as a test combat, most likely talking is not going to work.
No.
So it's really about how you want to enter this combat. I'm trying to give you the opportunity if you want to do some any like
parlaying.
You can also do some pre-spell casting if you want to. Maybe give yourself some temporary hit points with something.
Correct.
Or anything like that. That gives you this opportunity to do that and then walk up behind them and start the combat. They didn't notice you. You have some pre-casting time.
Therefore, go to my spell list.
I may have been rather specific with one of the things I suggested.
Yes. Obviously, I have spell False Life.
He has the spell False Life, and what does False Life do?
It gives me temporary hit points.
It gives him temporary hit points equal to 6 plus his spellcasting ability modifier. So he doesn't have to roll for anything.
No,
You just cast it and gain 10 temporary hit points. So you have 10 temporary hit points. Congratulations.
My hit point level is now at 68.
So, what else do you want to do, if anything? Or would you like to just try to kind of, like, sneak up behind them, see how close you can get before they notice you?
I'm going to order my skeletal champion. Well, we need to get closer. I want to be within the 30...
If you want to be within 30-foot range, you're probably going to have to sneak up on them or just kind of run out and go booga, booga, booga. And at that point, they will turn around confused and combat will initiate.
I'll keep my skeletal champion where he is right now. This is probably 50 feet, right? So
they were 50 feet, now they're about 70 feet. As you wait, they're going to keep getting further. They're walking, so they're not going super fast.
Alright. I am going to have my skeletal champion try to stealth within 30 feet.
Okay, you are going to have your skeletal champion try to stealth to get within 30 feet. So he is going to try to...
And I will try to stealth to get in 30 feet.
Okay, so let's roll your stealth and your skeletal champion's stealth and see what happens.
+8.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see about the skeleton. He did not roll as well this time, as he kind of just clomps out. He is wearing heavy armor, remember?
Yes.
He clomps out with his sword and shield out, and so he kind of moves out to this side, you kind of move out around the other side, and you see, so let's put out a couple of dice to show who you are and who they are, so we can do that. Now, I don't know if the audience is going to be able to see this, but we will describe as best we can. Basically, the skeletal champion moves around along the side while you move to behind them. You think that because of the fact that he did not stealth very well, that they are noticing him before they notice you. And that's one of the bonuses of being a necromancer.
Yes.
So he's going to go ahead and be basically here, coming out from the side. And you see these three guys basically there, and you are going to be... let's use another colored die. Or another die type. You're going to be this guy coming up from behind. So he gets to about 30 feet away. They turn to him, look directly at him, look confused out of all get out because it is the middle of the day and they're seeing a skeleton. And you think they're literally about to charge him and attack. So at this point, you have two choices. You can roll stealth for initiative or you can roll perception. I think your perception's a lot better, so you should probably roll your perception for initiative.
Perception is a +13, my stealth is a +8. So
it's a distinct difference. So you're going to roll your initiative. I'm going to roll initiative for your for the skeleton. No, not for the skeletons. The skeleton is your minion. He is under your control. Mm-hmm. This means because he is under your direct control, in combat, he doesn't do anything unless you order him to do something. He will defend himself. He won't go do nothing. But he won't attack unless you say so. He won't raise his shield. You have to spend an action to command him, which will give him 2 actions to be able to do what you wish. That's how this generally works when you have a minion.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to do. You're going to roll initiative for you, and he goes on your initiative. So you're going to go on a 31. So now I have to roll initiative for my enemies. You see there are the 2 basic lackey kind of guys seem to be getting prepared as they are going to roll their initiative. One of them rolled a natural 20 and the other one rolled a 9. But that's really not going to matter because neither of them can beat you in initiative anyway. So that's going to get one of them to be going on a 27 and the other to be going on a 16. And the third one, who is the hobgoblin with the crossbow, he's going to be going on a slightly higher value, but that's still going to be in between his 2 friends, which is all still after you because you went way faster. So, this combat's going to start with you getting to act. You are about, because of you stealthed up behind, you double moved to do that, getting behind them, so I'm going to let you be whatever range you want, 30 or more away from them.
So I'm going to go within 30.
So he's going to start 30 feet away from the hobgoblin archer, because that's
the primary target.
That's the one you can really see easily anyway.
I want to take him down fast.
And fast and quick, as fast as possible if you can.
Yeah.
So you have, the way combat works in Pathfinder 2 is you get 3 actions. You can spend those 3 actions however you want. Spells often take multiple actions to enact. So what would you like to do with your actions?
So you should take 2. And if I want to use my reach feat, which allows me to take a touch power and make it 30 feet away, I have to use all 3 action points.
That is true.
And I expect that I will have to use all 3 action points here to hit him hard. And I'm going to use one of my harm spells with a reach.
Okay, now, one thing that you are forgetting is that you can cast harm with 2 actions, and that automatically has the range of 30. That's what harm does.
Touch.
No, only if you use it a single action is it range of touch.
Oh.
If you cast it as a 2-action feat, and we're going to go to that page. If you cast it as a single action, the spell has a range of touch. If you cast it as 2 actions, the spell has a range of 30, and if you're healing undead, increase the hit points restored by 8. So if you cast it, if you use your harm, which is automatically heightened to 3rd level, as 2 actions, it costs you 2 actions to attack at 30 feet with a 3d8 damage attack.
I will do that, and then use my other action to order my skeletal champion to attack the...
Well, to move and attack, because he's got to move up and do that.
Move and attack.
And that is an incredibly effective first turn. Now, here's the best part. The way harm works is they just get a fortitude save. They don't actually get to do anything else. So I have to roll a fortitude save for him. Now, that archer, there's a reason why there's only one of him. He is stronger.
Yes.
So he has a higher fortitude save than his friends do. And fortitude is their best save. So he still fails by 1. So he takes full damage. Roll the 3d8 to see how much damage you do to that. An 8 and a 6 and a 7. Massive damage. You hit him for 21 points. Ouch.
A surprise.
He is definitely surprised and also in an enormous amount of pain as he turns to look at you. Obviously, it's not his turn, though, since your 3rd action is going to be spent to command your undead. So what do you want to command him to do?
Longsword and attack.
You need to have him move first.
I'll have him move.
Okay,
Right
so
front.
you're going to have him move to the archer? Or move to the first guy?
Well, move to the archer. Aren't they right next to each other? So
Yes, but there is a guy in between him and the archer. You have to move around to get to the archer. Is that what you want to do?
Is that going to give them a chance to attack the skeleton?
You can choose your movement so that they do not get a tax opportunity.
I mean, what I really wanted to do is go around.
Yes, you can do that.
Yeah.
So you want to move him so he is in between you and him.
Obviously.
Okay, so you move him in between yourself and the enemies, which is probably a pretty good idea. And then you can have him attack the archer. His attack value is plus 10. You may go ahead and roll it.
With a longsword.
He swings with his longsword at the gnome archer, and he hits with a 25.
Hobgoblin archer, right?
Yes, the hobgoblin archer. He hits the hobgoblin archer.
Gnome archer would have been.
Yeah, gnome archer would have been, yeah. He hits the hobgoblin archer, and you do a d8 plus 4 damage with your attack. 7 points. The hobgoblin archer is definitely even more hurt than he was before. The warriors coming to the hobgoblins, well, they're also hobgoblins, but the warriors are coming to his aid, at which point they're definitely afraid of you, realizing the skeleton is what the skeleton is. One of them is going to move and attack the skeleton, and the other one is going to move around the skeleton and come to you. Actually, sorry, I can't do that. I gave them different initiatives. The one who's going on first is moving up and attacking your skeleton.
Okay.
So he moves up, he takes a 5-foot step forward, at which point he is going to attack the skeleton. His attack value is not super great, though, because it isn't. And he's going to attack the skeleton. You did not raise the skeleton's shield, so the skeleton's AC is currently 19. But I rolled a natural 20 for the hobgoblin's attack, which means he is going to critical. The hobgoblin's critical damage is going to make him go from a d8 plus 3 to 2d8 plus 6. Which I rolled a 7 points of damage, so 7 plus 6 is 13. But your skeleton has a wonderful ability that makes it so that he resists 5 points of damage from all slashing and piercing damage. So he doesn't take 13, he takes 8.
And how much hit points does my skeleton have?
He had 25. Now, at this moment, he now has 17. But remember, you can always use harm to bring him right back up to full.
Correct.
Just can't let him drop to 0.
In Pathfinder, harm is undead type energy and heals undead.
In fact, it heals undead for a lot. If he uses the same spell he used against the enemy, he automatically heals his minion not only to full, but if he could, it would be past full, because his minimum healing is more than his minions' hit points. If he used it the same way. So, next after that is going to be the Hobgoblin Archer.
Oh, okay, the Archer.
The Archer is going on a 23. What the Archer is going to do is he's going to take a step action backwards.
Does that give an opportunity?
No, the step specifically does not allow for an attack of opportunity. Now, he also has an ability called Running Reload, which allows him, when he takes a step, a running action, a move action, or I forget what the third one is, he is allowed to do that and reload his weapon in the same action. So he's going to load his weapon very quickly. Mm-hmm. And then with his second action, he's going to go ahead and shoot your skeleton. Because again, if they can get rid of your skeleton real quick, you become a little bit easier of a target. So he's going to shoot your skeleton. He is very good with his crossbow. He rolled a 6 to hit, and guess what? That hit.
Yeah, it hit.
Not by much, but it hit.
But it is a piercing, so.
It is piercing, so the damage will be reduced by 5. He has another special ability that says the first time he deals damage in a round with his crossbow, he does additional D8 damage. So he will be doing 2d8 plus 2 for his attack.
All right.
But really, it's 2d8 minus 3. Mm-hmm. And since I rolled a 4 on the damage, I will be hitting your skeleton for 1.
All that
bluster, 1 point. Now, I actually forgot his third action, the last Hobgoblin Warrior. He is raising his shield with his third action.
Okay.
So the Hobgoblin with his third action is going to reload again.
Okay.
Because he has a reload weapon, it takes an action to reload, so now next round he'll be able to fire twice if he's still alive. The other Hobgoblin is going to get to go, and the other Hobgoblin is going to stay with his friends, move up the 5 feet, and attack your skeleton.
Takes the cue that they got to get rid of the champion.
They've decided to get rid of that champion before they attack you. So he attacks, and he is again going to hit. But it's not a critical this time, so the damage is going to be not that much. It's a d8 plus 3, but really it's a d8 minus 2. So he hits for 4 points of damage.
He's a lot better than his friends.
Now his other friend, remember, hit for a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But that was one attack. He's used 2 actions. His third action is going to be to swing again.
Oh, okay.
Now, when he's swinging again, he does not have any bonuses for it, so now he's going to use the multiple attack penalty. The multiple attack penalty says he gets a minus 5 on his attack roll. His chances to hit on this attack are very low.
See what happens.
He needs to roll a 16 or better to hit you. He rolled a 7. He did not hit you. He swings wildly and misses quite badly. That's the end of the first round of combat, which means it's back to you.
Alright, so now I have a choice. Heal my skeleton, which is probably a good idea. But I'm 30 feet away, or 25,
well,
whatever.
You're 20 feet away from him now.
I'm going to have to use a 2-action harm to do this.
You can, and if you do that, you don't even have to roll. He'll automatically be back to full.
That's what I'll do.
You use a 2-action harm, you bring your skeleton back to full hit points as his bones regenerate, and you still have an action left to use.
And I'm just wondering, what could I possibly use that takes only 1 action?
Well, you have a few abilities that can take 1 action, and one of those abilities is you have Shield, which will increase your AC, but I think you know what the appropriate action is to take at this point.
No, well, I don't know what all the exacts... I mean, I'm thinking...
Most spells take 2 actions, so you know you're probably not going to cast a spell. What other abilities can you use that take 1 action?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I can't prep something with a reach.
No. Well, yeah, you can.
I mean,
but
command the undead, that's right.
Yeah, commanding him to attack seems to be like the appropriate plan here.
I gotta keep telling the undead to attack. It's not like it's auto attack.
No, because it's one of your actions to give him 2.
Right.
So what would you like him to do?
I am going to have him hit the the crossbow.
He has to move up to do that.
That's right.
You can have him take a step with his first action and then attack with his second.
Yeah, I'll have him step forward.
Okay. He will step forward into flanking position, and then he will make a swing at the Hobgoblin Archer. Go ahead and attack.
Is it +8?
You have a +10 to your attack.
+10. 21.
You are going to miss the Archer this time. The Archer has remember, the Archer is higher level. You know that the Hobgoblin Fighter's probably not that great of an AC. The Hobgoblin Archer, he's the real combatant here. He actually has a higher AC than you do.
Alright, so that was one of my actions.
That's both of them.
Oh, okay.
Step is one, attack is your other. So your turn is over. However, the skeleton is back to full hit points. But we'll see what happens because it's now their turn once again. Mm-hmm. First thing that's going to happen is the one that's flanking is going to use that opportunity and smacky if he can. So your skeleton has an AC of 19. They are currently flanking, which gives them a +2 bonus because he is considered flat-footed. So they need to hit on a 17. They have a +8 to hit on their attack rolls. So that's going to be exactly a 17, which is not good for you because they still only do half damage, or they still subtract 5 from their damage roll, but that's 10 points, subtracting 5, so you're taking 5 points of damage as they are trying to continue to attack. Now, he attacked once. He's going to attack again. Mm-hmm. He attacks again and misses horribly as he rolls a natural 1, but there's nothing bad specifically that happens on the natural 1. He's going to use his third action to raise his shield. The archer is going to... he has already loaded his crossbow. He does realize that the skeleton can still attack him, and he is in range, so he doesn't want to take those penalties, so he is going to take a 5-foot step back again. And then he is going to shoot at your pet skeleton there. So he's going to shoot at the pet skeleton. He does not get the bonus for it being flat-footed, but at the same time, he does not need much to hit. And he rolls a natural 19. Now, here's the bad news.
That's a 10 above.
He just got a 33 on his attack roll, which means that he just criticaled because he needs to roll 10 or more above the AC to critical. Mm-hmm. He just criticaled your guy, and guess what? He also does the additional damage for the first hit, so he does 4d8 plus 4 minus 5, so it's going to do the 4d8 minus 1 damage to your pet. There is a distinct chance that he is gone right now.
What he said.
And he is not gone.
Close.
He took 19 points of his 20 remaining hit points. Ooh. He's at 1. Now, the third guy, he's going to use his third action to, once again, reload. In fact, actually, he's going to take he's going to move around to here and reload because he realizes that your skeleton is going to keep chasing, and he wants your skeleton to have to do a move to chase instead of just a 5-foot step. And this guy has decided he's going to do something different. He is going to charge you because he's realizing what's happening here, and they've lost their advantage for being in a group. So he's going to attack you. But your pet has an AoE, and he didn't know that, an attack of opportunity. So your pet gets to make an attack of opportunity against this guy.
All right, +10, right?
You have a +10 to hit.
18.
You have an 8, and guess what? That is exactly his armor class. You hit. He does a d8 plus 4 damage to this hobgoblin. So he hits him for 7 points of damage. That is a significant amount, more than you probably think, because you haven't hit these guys yet. You don't know how many points they have. These are the hobgoblin warriors. Yeah. So his first action was to move up and attack to move to you. His second action is going to be to attack you.
I have an AC of 22.
He has an AC of 22. They have a +8 to hit, so I need a 14 to hit you. I got a 6. He misses quite badly. However, he knows that he is in dire straits, so he must attack you again. He needs a 19 to hit you with his third attack. He does not get a 19 to hit you. He is right next to you, and He is
within touch range.
He is definitely standing right next to you within touch range. That could be bad for him, but he doesn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So it is now your turn.
All right.
You have options.
Yeah, I got quite a few options.
Yes, you do.
I
know what I would do if I were you, and it's really, really effective.
Well,
because we talked about this before. He has one offensive ability that is one action that he might not be thinking of.
Yeah, I'm not thinking.
It's exactly the thing that you're looking at.
The Touch of Undeath.
Touch of Undeath.
Which is a focus point.
It's a focus point spell. So, for those of you who are unaware, focus point spells, this is what he gets for going into being a necromancer, the Undeath build. Touch of Undeath deals d6 per level negative energy damage. They take a fortitude save. On a failure, they take full damage. On a success, they take half. On the failure, they also cannot be healed. And on a critical failure, they take double damage. Because he's 5th level, that does 3d6, and they have a fortitude save to possibly take half of that. It's a single action to cast. Touch range. He might be able to just murder this guy right now with a single action.
I think I'm going to have to do that.
That's
and
a good
then think
idea.
about what the number 2 and 3 are going to be with either the harm to heal.
You can figure that out. You can bring your skeleton all the way back up to full, or you can try to hurt one of the other guys.
Right.
So, first things first, you do a touch, roll your damage, you do 3d6 damage.
So I automatically touch.
Yes, there is no roll whatsoever. d6.
D6.
3d6. You do 9 points of damage to this fella. Let me see if he succeeds at his fortitude saving throw. Now, unlike him, where he had a good chance of making this save, this one, not so much. This is what happens when you fight against something that's 4 CRs lower than you. He rolled a 17, but guess what? That still fails.
Wow, okay.
So he still takes full damage, but you did roll pretty poorly for damage, so he is actually still alive. Not by much, but he is still alive. So at this point, remember, if you cast, he might get an attack of opportunity on you.
If I cast...
Anything.
Anything.
Unless you cast a touch spell on him. You could kill him by using a harm.
Right.
Because you are pretty positive that your harms will automatically kill him.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a harm on him.
You want to do a harm on him?
Yeah.
Okay. You can do a single action harm on him
Correct.
as well.
That's a touch.
So because it's touch range.
Right.
Now, one thing we were forgetting about, even though we talked about this beforehand, you have a feat that increases your harm damage, your harm numbers from d8s to d10s. So you should be rolling 3d10 for damage, not 3d8.
Oh. Okay.
But your first ones were really, really high, so it didn't matter. So let's go ahead and... So you can do a single action harm on him right now.
That's what I'll do.
So go ahead and roll 3d10. That's 14.
Yeah.
That is 24.
Yeah.
So, unless I roll a nat 20, which will make it so I critically succeed and take nothing, he's dead. He fails, he's dead. He succeeds, he's dead. He critically fails, he's very dead. He's dead. He didn't roll a 20. He dies in a horrible and agonizing pain as you actually dealt more damage to him than his hit points with that attack.
I wish it automatically turned him undead. That would be really cool, but not yet.
No, that's what Ghoul Touch does if they die while they've got Ghoul Rot. So, you've now used 2 actions.
But it is a fresh body ready to be ready.
You have 1 action left.
So, I'm going to have to order the skeleton to attack the guy right next to him.
That works.
Two attacks, right?
You can do 2 attacks, or you can do attack and a raise shield action.
With 1 hit point, I don't think it matters.
Raise shield can save you a lot of damage, because remember, he has raise shield, and then if he gets hit, he can use the action to also absorb damage.
2 guys attacking him. It's unlikely he's going to block 1 hit point.
You never know. The extra 2 AC can do a lot of work, but you choose however you want to do it. So your first attack against this guy, remember, he is fresh. He is the only one that's left that's fresh.
Mm-hmm. Plus 10, right?
You have plus 10 to hit. You rolled a 10 with a plus 10, and you hit.
Alright. D8, right?
Now, he did raise his shield, but guess what? With his raised shield, his AC is exactly 20. So you do a D8 plus 4.
So 8.
He is going to use his reaction to bring up his shield and block some of that damage. He blocks 3 points of that damage and only takes 5.
Does I have another attack, right?
You have another action that you can use from him. You can attack, or again, you can raise that shield.
Attack.
Attack. So you need, his shield is still raised.
Mm-hmm.
You have a -5 to the attack because of the way this works. So you have a +5 to hit, and his AC is 20. You need a 15 to hit. You rolled a natural 1. The longsword comes down and does not come close to hitting him. So, at this point, it is their turns.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go first. He's going to attack the skeleton because...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got to do what he's got to do.
He's got to do what he's got to do. And he's going to hit that skeleton. And because you did not raise your shield, there's nothing that can be done. Your skeleton drops and disappears. That was one action, so his second action is going to be to come to you, and his third action is going to be to attack you again.
Alright. See 23.
But it is his second attack, which means he already needed to roll a natural 19 to hit you, and he didn't get it.
He critically failed.
So, nothing bad. Again, it's an attack roll, nothing bad happens. So that's his turn. He is standing right next to you, and he is hurt, but not very badly. Finally, the archer, who is loaded and ready to shoot, is going to shoot right at your face.
Good. Do it.
He's going to roll a 13, and that's going to hit, because that's a 27. Now, he's going to do 2d8 plus 2 damage, but you cast False Life. You have 10 temporary hit points. So he does 12 points to you, and you only take 2. But your temporary hit points are now gone.
Alright.
That was his first action. His second action is going to be to reload, and his third action is going to be to shoot you again. However, this shot does not get the additional D8 damage, and takes the -5, so his chances to hit you have reduced significantly. He misses quite badly. He's done. It's your turn. How are you going to finish this off?
Well, I've got...
Your skeleton is gone. You can't act to have him do things. But you've got a guy right next to you, and you've got a guy about 50 feet away from you now.
I believe I have 2 harm spells left.
You do. You've cast 3. However, I'm going to suggest something for flavor that would be really, really fun. I think you know what I'm thinking.
Vampiric Touch.
Vampiric Touch is exactly what I'm thinking.
But that's...
2 actions.
It's not... I wanted to do Vampiric Touch on that guy.
He's too far away. He's 50 feet away. So you couldn't do it this round anyway.
Alright.
But you could kill off this fighter and also remember Vampiric Touch deals 6d6 damage, and half the damage you deal you get as temporary hit points. So killing this guy will make it so you can get to that archer.
Yeah, I'm gonna Vampiric Touch this guy. I would have loved to do it on the archer just to take the big guy down.
So roll your 66 damage, and I will roll his save. His will save. Right, that's him. I rolled exactly enough to make the will save on the other guy. But with him, that's going to be a 21, so he fails. He's going to take the full 66 damage. You rolled 4 of the d6s and got a 9. Hopefully the other 2 roll a little better. 8 on the other 2, so you do 17 points of damage. You have 8 temporary hit points once again, and 17 is enough to take him down. So guess what? The other warrior dies. You still have 1 action left.
I will move towards the other guy to finish him off.
You move towards him?
Within 30 feet.
Well, you move 25 feet, because that's how far you can, which means you're 25 feet away from him. Do you want to be at 30?
No, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Okay. It will be relevant, because he's not going to stand close to you. He thinks he can outrange you. Why would he stand close to you? So what he's going to do is he's going to spend his first action moving 25 feet backwards and loading. He's going to spend his second action shooting at you.
Does he have that kind of range?
His crossbow has a 120-foot range.
Wow, alright. I'm going to have to start...
You're going to have to think of another way to do this.
Alright.
He rolls an 18 to hit, which, I'm sorry to say, is going to be a critical. Because you have an AC of 22, and he just just got a 32. He needed exactly an 18 to critical you.
Alright.
So he's going to take 48 plus 4 damage, but you have 8 temporary hit points. So the temporary hit points are just going to go away again. So he does 21 points. You have 8 temporary, so he's only actually going to hit you for 13. And then his final action is going to be to go another 25 feet away and load. He is 75 feet away from you. You might need to come up with a spell that's got a little bit better range if you can.
Which I need to take a look at some of my other spells.
It's down to a one-on-one. And guess what? Our player has a lot more hit points left than the enemy. But does our player have
the
spells to do this? Now, our player can obviously just heal himself, and he heals for way more than the enemy can hit him for. He can use the trees as cover to be able to do this, but most likely if that happens, this archer is just going to run. He understands the danger he's in. He's probably going to run unless our player can do something to take him down.
I don't know where to that spell.
What spell are you looking for?
I was looking for a spiritual weapon.
Oh, spiritual weapon. That's an excellent idea, but you are in the focus spell section.
Oh, that's probably why.
So you need to go, spiritual weapon is right there. And guess what the range of spiritual weapon is?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
120.
That's right.
So are you going to move forward and cast it? Just so
don't
you can?
need to move forward.
If it misses, you're still going to need to be able to chase him.
Alright. I will do that.
So you cast spiritual weapon at the enemy. A spiritual weapon appears next to the confused gnoll. Or not gnoll. I was originally thinking Hobgoblins. Really. The confused hobgoblin. I just think when I think archer, I think of the gnoll archer model, and that's the reason why this is happening. So it appears next to the confused gnoll. You get to make an attack. The attack roll you make is with your spellcasting abilities. So you're going to make an attack with your spell attack roll.
Which is 11.
Which is plus 11.
Alright. Survey said...
A 9 is not going to hit.
20.
You need a little bit better than that to hit him. So that attack is going to miss. Now, sadly, can the spiritual weapon make attacks of opportunity? It's a weapon for purposes of triggers, resistances, and so forth. The weapon doesn't take up space, doesn't grant flanking, and now it cannot make attacks of opportunity. So, at this point, unless you got something that's going to end up happening, the frightened gnoll is probably going to go ahead and run away from you, because I don't think he has any other options.
And can my spiritual weapon chase him?
Yes, it can.
Alright.
Do you want to take another chance at it? So we'll play out one more round and see what happens.
Yeah.
So he has to, he is loaded. He's going to fire the weapon at you. He's going to hit, but not critical with his weapon. You might actually need to heal yourself sometime soon again.
Yes.
But you haven't healed yourself yet. You're only down a little bit. He hits you for 11. And he's going to move backwards and shoot you again. And that doesn't happen. I have to roll to hit. And I miss with the second attack.
Alright, so I'm down 24. Total.
He's down much more than that. Yeah. So, we are at the point where you are now, is your turn again. He has only moved 25 feet from the weapon. So, he is 75 feet away from you right now. But he is only 25 feet away from the weapon. You can spend an action to activate the weapon and move it.
That's what I'm going to do.
So that's one action.
And I'm going to attack.
You attack, roll. You have a plus 11.
Come on. Go. 14.
3 is not going to hit, no. So that's not going to work out. What do you want to do with your other 2 actions?
I am going to heal myself.
You heal yourself. You're going to cast a heal, level at the 2 actions, so you heal yourself for 1d8 plus 8. You heal yourself for 12. So you're recovering half the hit points you lost. It is your end of your turn. At this point, seeing the way this is going and noticing that you just healed yourself, his action is probably just going to be to run away.
As fast as possible.
He's going to run away as fast as he possibly can.
All right.
Do you want to try to do anything about it? I don't know if you have anything, really.
No, I'm not going to.
Saving throws is your better option right now, rather than
I lost my
attacking.
skeleton, but I got 2 fresh bodies to resurrect.
So, the Hobgoblin archer is going to run away, having lost his 2 companions and being down to about a quarter of his total hit points, because he was down to only 14 hit points. 1 shot from the spiritual weapon could actually not kill him unless you got a critical.
Yeah.
But he was very low. But you were still at almost his total hit points after healing yourself, so this was a very lopsided fight. And honestly, he was even running out of arrows. He used 8, he only had 12 left. So, at that point, our combat is going to be over. The question I have to ask you is, what do you think of your character based on the way that combat went? You fought against a CR4 and 2 CR1s as a 5th level character with a CR2 pet.
I felt like a supervillain almost. I mean, that's how it looked. I mean, it's like you walk into a supervillain in the woods.
And you know what he felt like? And he really did have the advantage the entire time. And if fighting a CR4 as a single 5th level character is not that easy.
Yeah, these CRs are meant for what?
A party
group of 4.
But, I mean, it was 1 level lower than you. But his AC was actually, his AC and plus to hit is higher than yours.
But these are 3 guys.
The other 2 were distinctly weaker.
Yeah.
And that was also to show how the difference with fighting against low-level creatures can be. He's got a DC of 22 for his save DC, and they only have plus 5 to their checks. So it's very difficult for them to make one of your spell saves because of how much lower they are. Also, you have an AC of 22, and they only have a plus 8 to hit, and they're fighter types. So that just shows you a little bit of the combat potential and the way that his character is built. He's better up close, but at the same time, he can also heal himself and has other abilities. If you like this, let us know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, and anything else you want to say?
No, well, the only thing I can say is that we're trying out Pathfinder regular game, and I'm playing a Necromancer sorcerer. So a little bit different. The way he wanted me to go, I picked the cleric, and this thing, the sorcerer, is even better.
It's all about having fun. Anyway, see you later.